Live from Greenwich, Connecticut, you're watching the greatest classic car show in the entire Northeast, the Greenwich Concours d'Elegance on BeTerrific. Welcome back, Terrifics, live in Greenwich, Connecticut. I'm Michael Arts. This is at BeTerrific TV on all social media. You're the Terrifics. You make BeTerrific special. Thanks so much for watching. We are so excited to be here at the Concours d'Elegance 2017. I've got Tom and Aaron here, and Aaron redid the engine of the Hudson Hornet, and Tom owns the car, and so we're going to find out all about this car. Now, I'm excited about this car because it's got the paint job of the Hudson Hornet from Cars, the movie, and my son's a big fan. We watch it a lot. What made you decide to go with the paint scheme and go with the Hudson Hornet and not just have it be a Hudson, Tom?
So this car is an exact replica of a NASCAR race car driver, a very famous race car driver, Herb Thomas. So this is an exact tribute replica of his race car. He was the winningest racer, Aaron, back in
51 and 53. The car was actually restored for a gentleman, Bud Lyon, who wanted to go do gentlemen's rallies like the Copper State 1000, the Colorado Grand. So the car was done probably about 12 years ago in Newburyport, Massachusetts, by Mark Allen of Precision Automotive. And then, as we said, while I was employed there, I did the motor and the transmission, and then it went on to do those rallies very nicely.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I like the idea of doing a rally in a car that's so classic like this car. I think it's interesting. I didn't realize, by the way, that in Cars, the movie, the Hudson Hornet, Doc Hudson was based on a real car and a real life thing. I'm not that big a NASCAR fan, in all honesty.
Yeah, I have to admit I'm not really much of a NASCAR fan myself, but it was a great project to do for a great guy, and now Tom plans to do similar events with it, so I'm glad it.
Aaron does all my mechanical restoration of a lot of my cars, and we had talked about building a car specifically for these rallies, and this thing came available, and he said, you got to get this car.
Wow.
He said, it's perfect. It's perfect for what we want to do. So the intention is that we will we'll enter this in these gentlemen's rallies. They're usually 1,000 miles, 4 days, around the country. So that's the plan with the car.
I'm a big guy first of all, one of the things I love about this show is that a lot of people here drive the cars here. They don't trailer them here. And another thing is the cars are unbelievably gorgeous. But I'm a big believer in not keeping it in a garage and waxing it and washing it and kissing it every morning. I'm a believer in bringing it out on the road, and so not only to bring it out on the road, but to take it in a rally. What's that like, and what goes into that decision?
Well, I haven't done one yet. We just purchased this last fall, again with the intentions of rallying it. So we'll try and do a rally every year with it. Right now, it's making its rounds in the show circuit. It was in Pinehurst last month, won its class. Got a letter from Boca, and they'd like to see it down in Boca in February. So it's becoming a quite popular car on the Concours series.
I bet. How's it drive?
Phenomenal. It's a blast.
1,000 miles in this would seem like it would be challenging at this point when you're so used to cars that are so easy to drive today.
It's pretty nice over the road. I mean, you look at the interior, big cushy seats, like sitting on your couch. I mean,
so. What made this the perfect car for you, as far as, I mean, it's gorgeous, but and it was ready to do it, but there has to be something special. You have to have had an affinity somehow for the Hudson.
The fact that he knew this car and did the engine and the transmission, it was the kind of the selling point. I mean, I drove it, I liked it. It's a great car for the type of things we want to do, but you buy something this old, you never know what you're buying. So I knew what I was getting.
What's the history and the heritage of the Hudson?
Actually, I can't speak to that.
I can give you a little bit of that.
Yeah.
So Hudson was the first American car company that built what they call this step-down car. So when you open the door and you look at this, you kind of step down into it.
Sure.
So they lowered the center of gravity of the car. They also were the first American car company to sponsor their race car drivers. So they were killing the big three in all the NASCAR races. And it really, I say they were responsible for starting sponsorship by all the automakers of their race car.
What happened to Hudson?
They got bought by Nash, or they merged with Nash, and then Nash
That's right.
was Rambler American, I think. So that's kind of what happened to them. I don't know the exact detail, but I know they merged with Nash.
How are they to work on?
It's great. You know, there's plenty of space. You know, the engine compartment is relatively, you know, open, and it's, you know, relatively basic.
The cost on a car like this when it was new is probably $2,600. Is that about right?
I would say that's roughly,
Yeah.
yes, in the ballpark.
Yeah, in ironically, we were talking about all the chrome on this car. You look at the nose, you look at all the chrome, and Aaron says he thinks when this car was restored, there was about $60,000 or $70,000 just the chrome work. So,
and it was like $2,600 brand new. That's pretty amazing. And talk about some of the features the car had when it was new. Did it have air conditioning, which would have been something spectacular back then, and probably almost too early?
No AC in this car.
it has what I call vent AC. There's little vents that open up on the hood.
Yeah.
That throws some
hot air off the engine?
No. No, they're right up on the dash. And
they help the engine vent.
It's pretty cool when you're driving it.
What about the horsepower? How much horsepower does this car have, and what's the brake and wheel setup?
So it's an inline six, a 308 inline six with an aluminum head that has some mild porting, and it's got the twin, the signature twin carburetors, twin H power they call that. And this particular car's got a Muncie M21 4-speed with a 4.9-inch, and then it has discs all around. Again, we were trying to make a car that was good for doing this rally stuff.
So the discs, obviously, I imagine it didn't ship with discs.
No,
you added that.
It has Chevrolet disc.
I think that's
yeah.
I think that's important. I almost think that, in restoring cars today, everybody should almost do that just for safety, because if you want to drive the car, I know it's not original, but if you want to drive the car, I think it's a safety thing. I love the interior. The gauges are unbelievable. They're just beautiful, like so Art Deco. It's very much like 1950s Americana. It feels like the Empire State Building when you look at those gauges.
Interesting.
It's very cool, and they're all original with the exception of the period look tack on the column there.
Well, it's absolutely beautiful. I wish you the best of luck here
Thank
and
you.
on all the
Thank
rest
you.
of the shows that you guys will be doing together. What other cars do you have?
I've got about 15. Tomorrow I'll have a 280 SL here with 24,000 original miles.
Wow.
Probably one of the nicest SLs around.
What year?
69.
Very nice.
Series of Porsches, a 58 Speedster, a 63 Carrera 4-cam, 68 912 soft window, 72 914 6.
Nice little stable of cars.
yeah.
How'd you get into cars?
I'd say my early interest was high school. I took an auto shop, and I come from a very large extended family of uncles, and I always brought somebody's car into the shop to repair. So I was working on cars when I was a junior in high school.
You ever work on the cars now? Or you leave that up to him and the team?
He won't let me.
He's a smart man. Hey, listen.
He's smart. He
Yeah.
won't let me.
I'm sure you got more important things to do, and quite frankly, all I do when I get near cars, as far as trying to work on them, is hurt myself or hurt the car. So you don't want to do that. I certainly get it. It sounds like you got a great collection, and we can't wait to see you tomorrow. We'll have to find you tomorrow with the 280.
We'll be up with the 280 tomorrow.
Oh, it's a beautiful car. So that's like about a decade before. Well, maybe 2 decades before the Beverly Hills Cop car. It's basically, so that was probably a 380 SL in like 88, maybe it was 86. Certainly, that's probably what made that car famous. But same kind of lines. They had that body style pretty much forever. That was like the predecessor to that almost exact body style, which I think took over in the 70s. It was beautiful. I can't wait to see it.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, and how about you? How did you get into cars?
It's a good question. I was always taking apart my radio flyer wagons and bolting them on plywood and making kind of downhill race cars. And then bought my first Porsche when I was 14.
14?
It was a really rusty 914.
I was going to say, did you buy it or steal it? But no, apparently, okay, so you got a really rusty 914, which was the problem with 914s.
Yeah.
They were rust buckets. And what'd you do? Yeah, obviously you brought it back to life.
I did my best. That one unfortunately never saw the road, so the next one was an MGB, a 77 MGB, and that I drove in high school. And
You ever think of taking a 914 and putting a 911 engine in it? I've seen that. That's pretty unbelievable.
Well, I bought a
Like you, done
914
that.
6, and the 6 has
the 911 gear.
has
yeah.
911 gearbox in it, or engine and gearbox.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they make about 1,200 of those.
I want to say 2,600.
Okay. We've got one that's going to go through full restoration soon.
Wow, I'd love to see that. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And it's got to be so fast and handle
Yeah.
so well. Such a light car.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, Tom, thank you
Pleasure
so
meeting
much. Aaron,
Thank you very
thank
much.
you. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Good luck. We'll
Yeah.
find out how you did with the Hornet here. And we'll take a quick break. We'll be back with a whole lot more live from the Concours d'Elegance in Greenwich, Connecticut on BeTerrific. Stay with us. The Greenwich Concours d'Elegance on BeTerrific.